As at Eden, a Good Omens fanfiction by Godfrey. Crowley and Aziraphale were no strangers to rain. Indeed, it had been a shared experience literally since the beginning. The walls at Eden, the Ark, and countless other occasions over the millennia. He had to admit, though, after that first time, the novelty of it sort of wore away. And it didn't help that the pair didn't have the luxury of using their wings to shield each other, or miracles to keep themselves dry, now that they spent most of their time in London. Crowley, being cold-blooded, never did handle sudden changes in temperature very well. His scrawny frame only added to the problem, as did his tendency to not dress for the weather, and what could only be described as truly hellish bad luck. There was one perk, though. He could nearly always tell when the weather was going to turn. And this particular time, Aziraphale had decided he wanted to walk around the city for a while, and Anthony J. Crowley, totally a very evil and not at all nice demon, had accompanied him. "Is something wrong, dear?" Aziraphale asked, as Crowley tilted his head upwards slightly. "Nothing much," Crowley answered. "Just looks like rain is all." As though on cue, the first drops began to spatter down from the grey London sky. "Called it." Crowley gave a wry giggle. "Damn clouds." Aziraphale's divine intuition, and the weather forecast in the paper, had told him that it was probably going to rain today, so he had the good sense to bring his umbrella. He unfolded it, raising it above his head in all its tartan glory. He looked over to Crowley, who had his hands in his pockets, shivering slightly. He wore a rather unamused expression, apparent even behind the sunglasses that were now so ironically out of place, and something about the way his fiery hair flopped down into his face when it was wet made the angel chuckle softly in that adorable way. "Something funny, Aziraphale?" Crowley turned to face him, a tiny smile appearing on his now damp countenance. "Your hair," Aziraphale couldn't lie to him. "It's quite cute like this." "Shut up." Crowley's smile widened, but he turned away again, giving another shiver as the rain only continued to worsen. He suddenly became aware of two things. The first was that the cold drops were no longer hitting him, though this was something of a moot point given that he was by now thoroughly soaked, even despite the faux leather coat he was wearing. And the second was that Aziraphale was standing a good deal closer to them than he'd been a moment ago. He looked around and saw that they were standing under the umbrella together. "Takes me back," Crowley said. "You know." "Yes, quite," Aziraphale agreed. "I remember it like it was yesterday." Crowley unconsciously rubbed at his nose and gave a barely audible sniffle. "Now let's head back, shall we?" Aziraphale put an arm around the demon's shoulder. "We don't want you catching a cold, my love." "You sentimental bastard." Crowley jokingly rolled his eyes. "But yeah, it's bloody freezing out here, and you know how I get." They were a good 20 minutes away from A.Z. Fell & Co.'s purveyor of books to the gentry, and the umbrella didn't stop the both of them getting completely drenched. As the shop door closed behind them, Aziraphale snapped his fingers, and at once he and Crowley were warm and dry. Crowley miracled them both cups of tea and blankets. "Satan, Angel, I still feel so cold." Crowley sat down on the sofa, legs crossed, and wrapped in one of the blankets around him. He sniffed again, attracting a look of worry. "Crowley, are you sure you're all right?" Aziraphale looked at him with those fretful, flickering eyes, icy blue and sparkling. "Fine," Crowley replied, taking another sip from the mug. "Bit of a chill, barely. Nothing for the Principality Aziraphale to concern himself over." "I am a principality." Aziraphale put a hand on Crowley's shoulder. "And that means it's quite literally in my job description to care for people. Especially cold-blooded snake demons who've been caught in the rain." He moved his hand up Crowley's neck, and then to his forehead, before drawing it away. "You're warm." "That can't be right." Crowley started. Haven't stopped shaking since we were out." Then, curse his luck, He found himself turning away from the angel and steepling his hands over his face as two almost painful-sounding sneezes wrenched through him.
Oh, fucking hell. He groaned. No offence, Angel.
None taken, Aziraphale assured him. But please, let me help you. The end. Bye.